Hollywood's never been hotter, and it's not just the weather. In 2025, a new wave of gay leading men is taking over the big screen, small screen, and your Instagram feed. They're not just actors, they're style icons, role models, and yes, total heartthrobs. From rising stars who've got the internet in a chokehold to seasoned legends aging like the finest wine, these 5 are proving you can be sexy, queer, and absolutely dominating the industry. Before we dive in, where are you watching from? Drop your city or country in the comments so we can see where our queer fam is tuning in from. Get ready to meet the top 5 sexiest gay actors dominating Hollywood in 2025. And fair warning, you might want to grab a fan. Things are about to get steamy. Tanner Buchanan, the pretty boy. Next door who's queer, confident, and stealing every scene. If there's one actor who's mastered the art of playing the heartthrob without losing his edge, it's Tanner Buchanan. With sharp cheekbones, that slightly messy hair, and a smile that can flip from sweet to dangerous in half a second, Tanner has the kind of screen presence that makes you stop scrolling. Most fans first fell for him in Netflix's Cobra Kai, where he played the brooding bad boy with a complicated past. But off-screen, Tanner has been quietly building a reputation as one of Hollywood's most exciting young queer actors. And while he's got the looks to coast on alone, he doesn't. He brings depth, vulnerability, and a self-assured queerness that feels fresh in a town that often plays it safe. Born and raised in Ohio, Tanner didn't grow up in the middle of a glamorous film scene. His early career was built on smaller TV roles, but even then, he stood out. There's an authenticity to his performances that makes even the most cliché teen romance scene feel real. And when you add his natural charm, it's game over. When Tanner stepped into more openly queer roles, fans noticed and loved it. He didn't approach them with caricature or camp, unless the role called for it. He played them like real people, messy, flawed, beautiful. And that choice? It's exactly why queer audiences connect with him. On social media, he's a bit of a tease, and we mean that in the best way. Shirtless workout videos, behind-the-scenes shots in tight-fitting costumes, candid moments with co-stars, but then he'll drop a thoughtful post about LGBTQ plus representation or mental health. That combination of playful and purposeful makes him more than just eye candy, though he's definitely that too. Style-wise, Tanner is versatile. He can pull off a clean-cut suit on a red carpet, then turn around and wear sheer mesh at a music festival without missing a beat. There's confidence in his fashion choices, the kind that says, "I know who I am, and I'm not here to fit your box." But what really sets Tanner apart is his energy. He radiates approachability. He's not the type of star who feels untouchable. Instead, he's the kind of guy you could imagine meeting at a coffee shop, only to realize later you just had a casual chat with one of Hollywood's rising queer icons. And for a generation of young LGBTQ+ viewers, Tanner represents possibility. The idea that you can be yourself, own your sensuality, and still win leading roles in a mainstream industry. So yes, Tanner Buchanan is hot, but he's also intentional, self-aware, and walking proof that queer actors can play the romantic lead without apology. Is Tanner already your #1 Hollywood crush? Drop a 1 if he's topping your list so far. Luke Evans, the leading man who made Hollywood fall for a proud out and unstoppable gay star. If Hollywood had a blueprint for the perfect leading man, tall, broad-shouldered, with a voice that could fill an arena, they might have accidentally described Luke Evans. But unlike so many of Tinseltown's heartthrobs, Luke didn't keep part of himself hidden to fit the mold. He came out early in his career and never looked back. a move that was almost unheard of for an actor positioned for blockbuster fame. Born in Wales, Luke's journey started far from the Hollywood spotlight. He trained in musical theater, perfecting his craft on the West End before making the leap to film. That theater background? It shows. There's a precision in his performances, a mix of discipline and passion, whether he's belting out a show tune or swinging a sword in an action epic. For many, Luke became an instant crush in films like The Hobbit trilogy, Beauty and the Beast, and Fast and Furious 6. He brought that perfect balance of strength and sensitivity, the guy who can save the day and still smolder while doing it. Off-screen, though, he's even more magnetic. What makes Luke stand out is his refusal to be typecast. He's played heroes, villains, and everything in between. And he's done it all while being unapologetically out, proving that a gay actor can headline major studio films without hiding behind a carefully crafted straight persona. And yes, he's sexy. The kind of sexy that's not just about looks, though let's be real, those don't hurt. It's in the way he carries himself. Confident, but never arrogant. Stylish, but never try hard. Whether he's in a tux at the BAFTAs or shirtless on a beach in Ibiza, Luke radiates a kind of grounded charisma that draws you in. Social media has only made the crush stronger. Luke shares everything from intense gym sessions to cooking at home, travel adventures, and candid moments with friends. He's open about his life without feeling performative, a tricky balance in the age of oversharing. And when he speaks up for LGBTQ+ causes, it's not for clout. It's because he genuinely cares. He's also proof that coming out doesn't have to end your chances at big roles, a fear that still holds many actors back. Luke's career is thriving, not in spite of his openness, but because of the integrity and confidence it brings to his work. And then there's the voice. Rich, deep, and perfect for both serenading and delivering a dramatic monologue. Honestly, it should come with a warning label. Luke Evans isn't just a crush. He's an example of talent, of pride, of what's possible when you own every part of who you are and refuse to let anyone tell you it's a liability. Is Luke Evans your ultimate leading man? Drop a 2 if he's claiming the top spot on your list. Ben Aldridge, the charming Brit who turned coming out into his superpower. Ben Aldridge has the kind of face that belongs on a romantic drama poster. Sharp jawline, soulful eyes, and that effortlessly charming British smile. But here's the thing. While Ben could have easily played the mysterious straight lead game for his entire career, he chose a different path. He came out as gay in 2020, right when his star was on the rise, and he hasn't stopped gaining momentum since. Born in Exeter, England, Ben trained at the London Academy of Music and Dramatic Art, giving him the kind of classical foundation that shows in every role. Early in his career, he appeared in British television hits like Our Girl and Fleabag, but it wasn't until he stepped into more complex, emotionally charged roles that audiences really started to take notice. And then came his public coming out, not through a PR stunt or a glossy magazine cover, but in a heartfelt Instagram post during Pride Month. He shared personal photos from queer protests and wrote about the joy and liberation of embracing his true self. It was raw, honest, and instantly endeared him to fans who had been craving authentic representation from someone in his position. On screen, Ben brings an emotional openness that makes his characters feel lived in. Whether he's playing a conflicted father in Knock at the Cabin or exploring queer romance in Spoiler Alert, he has a way of pulling you into the heart of the story. You're not just watching his character, you're feeling with them. Off-screen, Ben exudes understated sex appeal. He's stylish without being flashy, often favoring tailored suits, crisp shirts, and the occasional cozy knit that makes you want to lean in closer. His Instagram is a mix of behind-the-scenes snapshots, sun-drenched vacation pics, and thoughtful reflections on life as an out gay man in the industry. But what makes Ben crush-worthy isn't just the way he looks in a suit or how his accent could melt steel. It's his willingness to be vulnerable. He's talked about growing up in a religious environment, the internalized shame he had to unlearn, and the importance of queer joy as an act of resistance. That level of openness is magnetic, especially in an industry that still tries to box queer men into limited narratives. Ben also understands the responsibility that comes with visibility. He champions LGBTQ+ stories, supports queer charities, and makes it clear that he wants to see a wider range of identities and experiences represented on screen. And he's not afraid to turn down roles that don't align with his values. Has Ben Aldridge just stolen your heart? Drop a 3 if he's your top pick so far. Wilson Cruz, the trailblazer who made history and still looks like a dream doing it. Before representation was a buzzword, before Hollywood started catching up to queer visibility, Wilson Cruz was already out there, visible, unapologetic, and changing the game. And decades later, he's still doing it, with a smile that hasn't aged a day and an energy that could light up a room. Wilson first broke through in the mid-90s with My So-Called Life, playing Ricky Vasquez, the first openly gay teenager played by an openly gay actor in a major American TV series. At the time, it was revolutionary. He wasn't just acting, he was offering a lifeline to countless queer youth who had never seen themselves on screen. Born in Brooklyn to Puerto Rican parents and raised in New Jersey, Wilson grew up knowing what it meant to navigate multiple identities: Latinx, gay, ambitious. In an era when any one of those could close doors in Hollywood, he insisted on walking through them all, proudly. After My So-Called Life, Wilson built a career that spanned TV, film, and stage. He's appeared in Party of Five, Noah's Ark, and Star Trek: Discovery, where he plays Dr. Hugh Culber, a role that not only celebrates his queerness but also his heritage. He's one of the rare actors who's managed to stay consistently booked and relevant for nearly 3 decades, all while staying true to himself. And yes, let's talk about how good he looks. At over 50, Wilson is proof that aging can be hot, powerful, and deeply magnetic. His Instagram is a mix of workout shots that show off his sculpted physique, behind-the-scenes smiles, and heartfelt posts about activism. It's that rare combination of aspirational and approachable. What makes Wilson especially crush-worthy is his activism. He's not just a performer, he's a leader in LGBTQ+ advocacy. He's served as a spokesperson for GLAAD, worked with youth homelessness organizations, and spoken out on issues from HIV awareness to trans rights. His visibility isn't performative, it's purposeful. In interviews, Wilson often talks about the responsibility he feels as someone who's been given a platform. He knows that for many, seeing him thrive as an out gay man of color means believing in their own possibilities. And he doesn't take that lightly. But don't mistake his grounded nature for a lack of flair. On red carpets, Wilson serves looks, bold colors, fitted suits, and the kind of smile that makes you forget what you were saying. He's a perfect example of how style can be an extension of self-expression, not just a fashion statement. Wilson Cruz isn't just a crush, he's a legacy. A reminder that being authentic might not always be easy, but it can lead to a career and a life that's both meaningful and magnetic. Is Wilson Cruz your forever crush? Drop a 4 if he's holding the crown for you. Conrad Ricamora. The smooth-talking triple threat who's making queer representation look effortless. There's a special kind of crush that sneaks up on you, the kind built on charm, intelligence, and just enough smolder to keep you coming back. Conrad Ricamora is exactly that. Actor, singer, and Broadway performer, he's a triple threat who's been quietly, and sometimes not so quietly, winning over audiences everywhere. Most people first met Conrad as Oliver Hampton on How to Get Away with Murder. In a show full of big personalities and twisty plot lines, Oliver stood out, not just for his quiet resilience, but because he was an openly gay Asian man in a committed relationship, portrayed without stereotypes. Conrad brought warmth, wit, and vulnerability to the role, and in doing so, made history for representation on network television. Born in California to a Filipino father and German-Irish mother, Conrad grew up with a deep appreciation for diversity, both cultural and personal. That background has informed his work, making his performances feel layered and grounded. He didn't take the most traditional route to fame either. He earned his stripes in regional theater before breaking into TV, and he still returns to the stage, most recently starring in Here Lies Love and The King and I. What makes Conrad so crush-worthy is the blend of intellect and charisma he brings everywhere he goes. In interviews, he's thoughtful and articulate, but he's also got a playful side that sneaks out in just the right moments. His smile, that slow, slightly mischievous one, could melt steel, but it's his sincerity that sticks with you. Fashion-wise, Conrad leans towards sleek and minimal, often letting a perfectly tailored suit do the talking. But he's not afraid to mix it up. Leather jackets, bold colors, or the occasional casual hoodie that makes him look like your cool artist boyfriend. He's proof that sex appeal isn't always about showing skin. Sometimes it's about the quiet confidence of knowing exactly who you are. Off-screen, Conrad is a vocal advocate for LGBTQ+ rights and Asian American visibility in media. He's spoken candidly about the need for authentic queer stories, and he doesn't shy away from calling out the industry when it falls short. That willingness to stand up, combined with his talent, makes him a role model as much as a heartthrob. On stage, his voice adds another layer to the crush factor. Rich, expressive, and capable of going from soft intimacy to powerhouse belting, it's the kind of voice that makes you lean in. Watching him perform live feels like being let in on a secret, one you want to keep, but also share with everyone you know. Did Conrad just earn your final vote? Drop a 5 if he's stealing the spotlight for you. So, how do you even begin to choose? From Tanner's boy-next-door charm to Luke's leading man confidence, Ben's heartfelt authenticity, Wilson's trailblazing legacy, and Conrad's magnetic artistry, these 5 prove that being sexy, talented, and proudly queer isn't just possible in Hollywood, it's unstoppable. They're not just easy on the eyes, they're changing what queer visibility looks like on and off screen. And honestly, that's the hottest thing of all. Now it's your turn. Who's your number 1? Drop a 1 to 5 in the comments so we can see who's winning the crown. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. More queer icons are coming your way next week. Rainbow.